POA.
General, let me ask you this.
One of the reasons
what is a military presence in the Strait look like? If they go into this meeting and they say, no, we're in charge of the Strait, everyone's going to pay $1 million or $2 million to us to get through. We have mines under the water. We know you've hit a lot of our stuff, but we've still got, buried deep missile silos that we can launch at any ship that comes through there, including your folks if you land on Carg Island. What do you say to that?
I would sell them very clearly at the negotiations table. You do something like that, you are dead. We know where you're at. We know where you live. We're going to come and get you. And you don't have much of a military left. We're going to take care of that as well. We can seize Carg Island. We seize the 5 islands in the Strait, the Gasham Island and Larak Island as well. We just make sure we go in there. We tell them that it's not open for negotiation. We're going to tell them what we're going to do. And they've rerouted the traffic through the Straits to bring it closer to Iran. That passage lane used to be further to the south,
right,
closer to friendly territory. It's not anymore. We reroute the traffic that is supposed to be through the original traffic lanes.
They're rerouting
make
because
sure we have freedom of navigation.
I guess if you pay them, they'll reroute you around their mines. Is that right? Really quickly, sir, if you can.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they do it or not, but if we have the ability to find out, and we do it through undersea drones or minesweepers, we can do it. But we tell them right up front that if we get a tanker destroyed or a ship destroyed, we go back to what Ronald Reagan did when he made sure that ships were escorted through, and we make sure they pay the price for it. So you basically tell them you're alive today because of that. You're going to be dead tomorrow if you violate it.
Very, very important negotiations coming up in Pakistan, and we didn't even get to the Israel-Lebanon question, but we're going to get to that a little bit later in the show. General Kellogg, thank you very much.
The IDF says they have launched new attacks on Hezbollah targets in Lebanon. That's hours after Iran warned that missiles are at the ready if those kinds of strikes don't stop. All as President Trump tells NBC News, he is very optimistic that a peace agreement with Iran is within reach.
Tankers, often their own tankers, through the Strait.
KT, appreciate you joining us today. It's good to see you.
And joining me now, Mark Levin, host of Life, Liberty, and Levin. Mark, great to have you with us today. I'd like to start by asking you to comment on this opinion piece in the Wall Street Journal, and then we can broaden it out to the Strait and Israel, of course. And I point this out, this isn't the only paper editorial that sort of sounds like this today. Trump declares premature victory in Iran. It says the unfortunate truth is that Mr. Trump put himself in this position. Inconsistent rhetoric on the war, claims of victory, and unleashing hell to Iran's civilization raise global fears and undermine support at home and abroad. The next test for Mr. Trump will be whether he takes his 2-week ceasefire deadline seriously. So that you can sort of throw into a ball of coverage that is quite similar to that. What's your reaction when you see that, Mark?
Well, I don't normally waste my time reading editorial pages because I don't care what about 6 guys sitting in a skyscraper have to say about anything. The fact of the matter is this. We wouldn't be where we are today but for the fact that this president did something no president has done in half a century. He said enough is enough. We're going to take care of this nuclear issue. We're going to take care of this enrichment issue. They're not going to get to blackmail us. They're not going to get to fund terrorism anymore. They've killed thousands of American citizens and military personnel. We're not putting up with that anymore. They're spreading terrorism all over the world. They try to assassinate me. We're not putting up with that anymore. We're going to take care of this once and for all. We're not going to push it off to the next generation. My envoy came back, Steve Witkoff. He said they were bragging about the fact that they could have 11 nuclear bombs in 10 days. And I'm supposed to listen to Chuck Schumer? I'm supposed to waste my time with AOC? I'm supposed to care what some editorial page has to say? He's the president of the United States. He knows what he's doing. My issue here is they say premature. He's sending mixed signals. Premature, I don't think he's premature at all. And he hasn't sent mixed signals unless he wants to send mixed signals. And that's the way he negotiates and so forth. So the fact of the matter is this regime is dead. The question is whether we let it live, whether we allow it to breathe life into it. And that's why these negotiations are critical. I agree with almost everything General Kellogg had to say. They are dead men walking. Now, are we going to resuscitate them or not? As far as the Straits go, that's international waters. They don't get to control it. There's 8 countries on the shoreline of that navigable area. Who says Iran gets to make decisions about what goes on there? They have to be put in their place. If it were me, I'm not president, so I'm just projecting. I'd say, here are my 12 points. You surrender, or we'll see you in a week or two. And that's that. We're not there negotiating any kind of deal. We're negotiating their surrender. That's my view. This president has been up against the Democrats. He's been up against the woke right. He's been up against the media. He's been up against the UN. He's been up against NATO. And he's doing the right thing. They've had 50 years to figure this out, and he's figured it out. And he says no to all these other people. They're wrong. What would we do today, Martha, if they had a nuclear weapon? They'd control the straits. And there's not a damn thing we could do about it. They control the entire oil in that entire region. That whole region would change with China's presence, with Russia's presence, and so forth and so on. Moreover, they keep threatening us. These are terrorists. These are suicide bombers. They'd be suicide bombers with nuclear weapons. And they could use those nuclear weapons to kill tens of millions of Americans.
Let me ask you.
Donald Trump's the president. He has to make those decisions.
Let me ask you, because the question of this ceasefire, and, you know, from everything I'm hearing, I know General Kellogg said, you know, I didn't support a ceasefire at this point, but the president made that decision, and that, you know, that's where we are now. So a lot is going to depend on this decision, these meetings that are going to happen in Pakistan. What's your take on it? Do you think it was too soon? Do you agree with it?
I mean, who am I? I wouldn't have done it, but he's done it. And he's smarter than I am. He has more information than I have.
Right.
And so far, when it comes to foreign policy and so forth, it's almost been absolutely pristine. So he has information I don't have. I think in the end, they have to be finished off, unless there's some kind of deal. And I also think this government has to go. It's an illegitimate government. It slaughters its own people.
Well,
it's not a government of the people.
It's pretty clear the same guys are in charge right now, right? I mean, we have not had a regime change.
Right.
The same guys are in charge. Am I right?
Well, here's my take on it. The fact of the matter is that we went to war with this regime, and this regime lost. We didn't go to war with the people of Iran. They're two separate things.
Absolutely.
We don't want a democracy project. The American people don't want a democracy project. So what? We take this regime out, we put in a temporary government, and they can figure out what they're going to do. Whether they want a democracy, whether they want a king, whether they want a prince, whether they want a queen. You know, that whole area is full of dictators and monarchs. If that's what they want, that's great. We're taking out that regime because it's our enemy. We're taking out that regime because it killed our people. We're taking out that regime because they wanted nukes. And if it remains in some form, you know, it's like a weed whacker. The weeds grow. They keep coming. You might get the top of it in the next level, but the weeds keep growing. And if we don't get down into the weeds, they're going to keep growing.
Mark Levin, as always, thank you very much.
So we've now just had our second oil tanker flow